So financial assistance can come in handy at any time. It could be when you're in a pinch and you don't know what to do. And I know that amount might not be much. It's not like the amount you're going to get will solve all your financial problems. But like I said, if you ever find yourself in a bind where you need urgent assistance, these are some of the things that can help you, especially as an international student. Hello, so Happy New Year once again. Yes, this should be the third or fourth time that I am saying Happy New Year to people, but I'm going to keep saying it. For those of you who have never met me before, this is Chioma and welcome to my channel. So on this channel, I talk about everything related to my experience of settling in Australia as an immigrant from Nigeria. This is sort of like a sequel to the video I made regarding some of my experiences as an international student here in Australia. So I talked to you about the challenges that I faced as an international student. If you're wondering where you can watch that video, please check the description box. There's going to be a link. As a sequel to that video, I thought I would come on here and talk to you about how to set yourself up for a successful international education experience. Okay, so these are some of the things that I wish I knew before I started my own education. Some of the things that if I were to go back and do the whole thing all over again, like have to study all over again, these are the things that I would do to make sure that I made that experience a little less painful and, you know, remove or reduce to the barest minimum some of the struggles I had as an international student then, okay? And I know that a lot of you are heading this way. I'm so excited for you to start your courses, and I just want to say good luck, all right? And so while you're preparing to start your course, I want you to reference this video and keep it somewhere because you're going to find it useful. So let's talk about how to prepare for a successful international education experience, how to have a better experience as an international student when you come to Australia or to any country actually. What are some of those things that you should do? Some of those things to keep in mind. Number one, as soon as you're clear that you're coming to a particular school to study, find out everything you need to know about what supports are available in the school. I'm talking learning support or academic support, okay? Mental health support, very necessary. And also financial assistance, okay? And you also want to know the go-to person for any problems you might have, anything that might come up for you in the time while you're studying that impacts on your studies. And this could actually be personal stuff, okay? So personal things that impact on your study experience. Find out if there is a go-to person or a go-to department in the school you're going to be studying at. I wish I took these things more seriously in my own time. Most schools would have a learning support department or unit or team, okay? So you want to find out exactly what they offer in terms of academic support, okay? You want to find out how to access that service if you would need to fill out forms and book an appointment and things like that. Find all of that out before you actually start your studies. It would help you. And you will also be building rapport with these people so that when you eventually start your studies, if you need any such support, you would have already broken the ice, sort of, because one thing that I know is that sometimes when you're in the middle of a difficulty, that's the hardest time to actually reach out for support. But when you've already established rapport and established contact with these people prior to you ever needing that support, it gets easier when it's actually time for you to use their service. And that also goes to mental health support. And I know this is a huge one because, like I said, this is not something that is commonly talked about, especially for people like us coming from Nigeria. But you absolutely want to know that these sorts of supports are available. One thing to keep in mind is that the counseling service in your school is a confidential service, okay? It has no crossover into your academic life while you're studying. So if there's any concerns about, you know, someone taking what you've said to them and kind of applying it to your ability to study, no, please, I don't want you to think about that because it doesn't happen. This is independent support, even though it's located within the university. It's independent, it's confidential, okay? And please do not hesitate to take up this support where necessary. If you start to feel overwhelmed mentally by everything that's going on, and it doesn't only have to be related to your academics. It could be things happening in your personal life as well. Do not hesitate. Talk to someone about it. The next would be financial support. Okay, so like I said, most universities would have some kind of bursary system or bursary program that they run. And I know some of these services are quite limited in their scope and also in eligibility, but you still want to find out if that option is available. So financial assistance can come in handy at any time. It could be when you're in a pinch and you don't know what to do. And I know that amount might not be much. It's not like the amount you're going to get will solve all your financial problems. But like I said, if you ever find yourself in a bind where you need urgent assistance, these are some of the things that can help you, especially as an international student on a temporary visa that doesn't open up a lot of options for you to access financial assistance in the wider community. So make use of whatever your university offers. In the university that I work in, they also provide food vouchers for international students as well. So find out, like I said, find out all the available supports and support services within the school you're going to be studying at. Let's move on to number 2. Get familiar with your unit requirements even before you start, even before you land in the country, if it's possible. As soon as you have secured your enrollment and you gain access to the student portal, okay, please go in there and see the structure of your classes, okay? Know who your lecturers are and just get familiar with the format of your assignments, okay? Because it will save you a lot of time. Let me tell you something. In the time that I was studying, it used to take me like 2 to 3 days just to understand an assignment task. At first, okay, the very first assignment that I did, obviously I did social work. So we did a lot of writing, a lot of long essay assignments. And in that time, I remember that I would feel really anxious that I didn't understand the assignment question. I didn't understand the assignment task. And so I would panic, shut down my book, try to avoid it because I'm that kind of person. Sometimes I can be really, really avoidant. I would try to avoid it, but then it was still there. So the strategy that I came up with was to spend as much time as I needed just to understand the assignment. So I would carve out time, and sometimes that ran into days, okay? I would carve out 3 whole days just to understand the assignment task. So what I would do was to take notes according to my understanding. Okay, this is what I am being asked to do, and I would write it down in my own words, try to break it down. Once I had that understanding down pat, I would then tackle the assignment. So get familiar with the unit requirements soon as you have access to your portal. Another thing I would say is, I know I've already mentioned that you should get to know your lecturers and all of that. Another thing I would say is do not hesitate to tap into the huge resources that your lecturers and teachers have got up here. Those guys are experts in their fields. In a field like social work, most of my lecturers at that time were actually practicing social workers. So they were not only in academia, they had a foot in practical experience as well. And it is such a free resource. You don't need to pay any consultation fee to tap into that resource. So do not be shy. Ask them questions, even if the questions are not entirely related to the subject or the units that they are lecturing you on. Okay, you can tap into their knowledge of what it's like to actually be in the field. This is not Nigeria, where people are very reluctant to give of themselves in that way, where people are so hung up on whatever power they have and so they abuse it. In Nigeria, you can't just walk up to a lecturer and ask them questions. They would shun you, they would be rude to you, and that just kind of shuts down that channel of communication. That was my experience, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate if you're coming from Nigeria. Here in Australia, that is not the case. People actually want you to ask questions. They encourage you in class. They encourage you outside of class to reach out when you need support, okay, to talk to them. And these are people that in the first instance, you're already on a first name basis with them. I call my lecturers by their first name. They call me by my first name. There's no power tripping going on there where some people just feel like they have power over you and they need to exercise that power, in ways that just make you feel uncomfortable. This is not Nigeria. Make use of the resources available. Now, the next thing I would say would be for you to network, network, network. Very, very important. One thing I'm going to say here is regarding finding a job after your studies. I know that that's the end goal for a lot of people. A lot of people are concerned about getting a job even before they've started their studies, okay? So what I want to tell you here is that a lot of it comes down to networking. Here in Australia, things move by networking, right? And when I talk about networking, I'm also going to talk about another aspect of it, which is continuing to upskill yourself and not just limiting your knowledge to what you're taught at school. I'm going to talk about that, but in this sense, I'm talking about social networking. I've already mentioned about getting closer to your lecturers, okay? And it doesn't have to be like you have to be in their faces all the time or you have to show yourself all the time, no. But every opportunity you get, if anything is unclear to you, if there's anything you want to clarify, do not be afraid to talk to people. If you're coming in, for instance, to study a master program, at that point it is assumed that you are a mature age student, and most of the other people who would be in the same class as yourself would also be people of mature age who have industry experience probably. So talk to these people. I know that in my class back then I had lots of people who were already practicing in the field as social workers. Some of them already had like bachelor degrees, some of them were counselors, some of them came from a psychology background. And because there's such a huge crossover in the helping professions, especially in allied health, like psychology, counseling, and social work, it was nice to hear from these people. And again, because you're an international student coming in from another country and you're still unfamiliar with the Australian system, talk to these people, talk to these locals who have local experience, who know the lay of the land, so to speak. Talk to them, okay? Attend events that are relevant to your career goals. And that brings me to the next aspect of it that I said I was going to talk about, which is continuing to upskill yourself. It's actually quite easy, easier than you think. And there are lots of free options available. I don't want you to be thinking that you would have to pay more to upskill yourself even while you're studying. It could just be attending webinars online. Some of these webinars are like 30 minutes long, 1 hour long. Some of them just provide information. So attend these things online. Even now that I am working, I attend a lot of these webinars. For instance, I attend a lot of webinars from legal centers where we would usually refer our students who perhaps have experienced domestic violence and they are needing assistance around court processes, police reporting, understanding their rights. It could even be tenancy rights, people who have accommodation issues. I attend webinars from this particular service because they are always on top of providing updates regarding key legislation or important legislation that impacts on some of what we do. And these webinars are very frequent, like once every month at least there is something. And like I said, it's free. All you need to do is register online. I have also attended police community events where they attend community centers and they bring different services within a community together just to talk to them about what the police is doing in certain areas, like in domestic violence or in youth work, in community development. All these things are necessary. And I know I am saying this with the lens of a social worker. So for anyone who is coming in here to study as a social worker, but as well, I want you to seek out such opportunities depending on your particular area of practice or the career that you're pursuing. I'm sure you would find things like that. Attend these things. Some of them might be physical events, okay? Make out time to attend. Some online events also offer access to the recordings from that event after the event. So do not be shy. Ask questions, talk to people, attend events, attend webinars, all of that good stuff, okay? It would help you. And then another thing I would say would be for you to actually schedule time to relax, to enjoy your life, okay? It could be once in a fortnight, just take a day off completely. A day of studying, a day of work. And make sure that when you take this day off, you're not just lounging around in your house, because that way you're just opening the door up to thoughts about the assignment that is due tomorrow, or the fact that you could be working and making money in the time that you're resting. No, don't do that. Instead, fill that time up with something that you enjoy doing. Go out and see friends, join a club. If it's a sporting club, go there, do something that you actually enjoy. Go out and see the city, travel to a place that you've never been to before within the city. Obviously, I'm not asking you to go and spend the little money that you don't have, but fill that time up with something that you actually enjoy doing, and do it intentionally, right? And like I said, at the end of the day, please do not struggle by yourself. Do not keep those difficult moments to yourself. Share it. Talk to people, talk to friends, talk to your lecturers, talk to your school, okay? Keep talking. Don't keep it to yourself. If you want to know more about some of the challenges that you might face as an international student, please go on and watch the other video I made. There's going to be a link in the description. I just wanted to come on here and give you some encouragement for the new year, especially for those of you who intend to study here in Australia, or it could be anywhere else. And I hope you found this useful. I'll see you again soon. Bye.